This video is sponsored by Keeps. All right, man. As we all know, a bad trade or even a bad signing, it can truly set a team back for years. And I mean, it is hard to recover from. We've seen what happened with the Brooklyn Nets. And that's exactly what I want to touch on in this specific video. I want to talk about some trades that happened like in the last 3 to 4 seasons that to me are even affecting teams right now, still to this day. Now, before we get into the video, and trust me, it's going to be a good video, I want to put you guys on with a good friend of the channel and today's video sponsor, Keeps. Trust me, I know I have a lot of kids that watch me, I know, but I also have a lot of people in their early 20s around my age. I'm 23 years old and even approaching their early 30s. And if you're in that range, you need to hear this. I don't care how much you work out. I don't care how well you eat. I don't care how good you take care of yourself. The numbers say 2 out of every 3 guys, we're going to experience some form of male pattern baldness by the age of 35. The best possible way to take care of a common problem like hair loss is to get out way in front of it and not wait till it's all too late. Keeps, and I tell you guys this all the time because it's just the facts, take advantage of this. It's only 2 FDA approved hair loss products and they provide versions of both. They're pretty rare. Also, especially during a time like this where you shouldn't be out too much, they come in clutch. They deliver your medication every 3 months, so you don't have to worry about being in a doctor's office with a mask on and all that weird stuff. Like, they come in clutch with that too. If you care about your hair like I do, or you know somebody that should, visit keeps.com/swishout or just click the link in my description. They're giving y'all 50% off, half off of your first order, bro. It doesn't really get much better than that. Big shout out to the homies at Keeps for always looking out and helping my guys keep their hair. And let's get into the video.
That is what branding does. Just never forget what Kyrie Irving was in Cleveland before LeBron. The records were 21-45, 24-58, 33-49. And the East was horrible. The East was horrible. The perception that Boston got off, no, Boston had to give up Jay Crowder, who is the only Celtic that can even guard LeBron James. Essentially, the Cleveland Cavaliers in this deal got 95% of Kyrie Irving and the one guy Boston had who could truly defend LeBron James.
When the Boston-Cleveland trade went down, please tell me everybody not named Colin Cowherd. We all knew that Boston clearly got the better player, right? Like it was no confusion in that. And like the first 4 to 5 months of this trade, it really seemed like Boston damn near robbed Cleveland for Kyrie Irving or something like that, because Isaiah Thomas only played a few games with Cleveland. It clearly didn't work out. And Kyrie Irving made it seem like he wanted to be in Boston long term. But as weird as it is, the narrative of this trade oddly flipped when Kyrie Irving did this.
I appreciate that, Scout. I joined in, but I shared it with some of my teammates as well as the organization and everyone else in Boston. You guys will have me back. I plan on re-signing here next year.
Boom!
So I appreciate it.
And when Cleveland selected Colin Sexton with that pick they got from Boston, no, it didn't help them, keep LeBron or anything like that. But Isaiah Thomas was probably always going to be a rental. Even if he was healthy, he was never going to be a Cavalier long term. And at least you shored up your point guard for the future. Meanwhile, Boston got Kyrie, never won anything with Kyrie. In fact, he went further without Kyrie, got finessed by Kyrie. And to be honest, this goes directly into the next terrible signing. I know Kimball Walker has battled injuries, and I'm not even talking about specifically his health. But even at the time when Danny Ainge pulled the trigger and signed Kimball Walker, it never really made too much sense to me. I know you lost Kyrie Irving, and I know people talk trash on Kyrie Irving and all that, but teams, you typically don't get better losing a Kyrie Irving. I understand that. But signing Kimball Walker, especially to the contract you did, it always felt panicky to me, especially for a team like Boston. The Celtics and Boston, that's never been an organization or even a city that plays for mediocrity, like ever. They always have a championship expectations, especially if they're good. So when you sign Kimball Walker to a max contract, and you know he probably doesn't take you to a championship level even back then. I know he's progressively gotten a little bit worse, but when you do that, it almost feels like you were just keeping up with the Joneses at the time. Please try to keep into perspective exactly where the NBA was at that specific time. Everybody was going everywhere. KD was leaving Golden State. Russell Westbrook got traded. Paul George got traded. Like, the NBA was going everywhere. And I feel like Boston kind of seen that, lost their best player, Kyrie Irving, and hit the panic button, bro. Also, even on another level, bro, it was pretty bad because of the Gordon Hayward signing. I know Gordon Hayward is pretty much regarded as one of the worst, if not the worst, Boston Celtics signing of all time. You gave him a lot of money, and he didn't really give you anything. But if you really look at it, you lost Kyrie Irving, a very ball-dominant point guard, replaced them with Kimball Walker, another ball-dominant point guard. You have two emerging players with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown on the wing who's great on ball, and you were basically paying Gordon Hayward a lot of money to be a fourth option. What did you want him to do? You know, when he went there and joined his old coach, he was basically told he was going to be the number 2 option at least, and possibly the number 1 because Isaiah Thomas is very undersized. He got injured and ultimately became the 4th option, bro. Like, that's not really his fault. Next, and very unfortunate for Minnesota, they have the worst luck ever, bro. We have to talk about the Jimmy Butler trade, man. When Minnesota first traded for Jimmy Butler, bro, I was actually one to believe it was a great move. Like, they already had Tom Thibodeau, a great defensive coach that has that hardcore mindset. All they really needed, in my opinion, was that player, that dog, to change the culture because the culture seemed damn near soft. Pairing Tom Thibodeau and Jimmy Butler back together, especially in Minnesota that already had Cat and Andrew Wiggins, 2 players that people, kind of call soft at times, you couldn't tell me that wasn't going to change the culture, bro. But ultimately, bro, it just didn't work. Now when you look at it 4 years later, especially on paper, bro, the trade just looks terrible, like god-awful. You essentially traded away Chris Dunn, who I can't really make much of a case for, I can't lie, but a pick that became Lauri Markkanen, who's having his best season up to date right now, and Zach LaVine, who's a damn all-star right now. And to be honest, you can even argue he's an all-star starter if the East wasn't so damn packed. And in return, you got 58 games of Jimmy Butler and a playoff berth. That's all you got. Then, unfortunately, bro, when you look at what they traded him for, it looks even worse. Basically, when Jimmy Butler didn't work and asked to get out of Minnesota, you basically got rid of Lauri Markkanen, Zach LaVine, and Chris Dunn for Jared Bayless, Robert Covington, Dario Saric, and a 2nd round pick. And none of those guys are still there. Similar to Boston, bro, when the 76ers lost Jimmy Butler, it's crazy I'm doing this stuff all kind of in order. When they lost Jimmy Butler, again, I feel like they panicked. You don't get better losing a player like Jimmy Butler. And again, remember where the NBA was. Everybody was going everywhere. The finals MVP even left his team. So like the NBA was in like a crazy ass mode. And when Jimmy Butler left, they overpaid Tobias Harris. Let's be honest, like he's a little overpaid. I love Tobias, but I don't think he's worth all that. And they signed a player that doesn't fit, never really made sense, and honestly made your team worse. In the year of 2020, bro, a 3-point error, they basically rolled out a lineup to their fans with basically 4 power forwards, none of which who can really shoot, and Josh Richardson. And then on top of that, the player that gave you any type of 3-point shooting and floor spacing, they wouldn't quote unquote overpay him because I guess he was too expensive. It just made no sense, bro. They are so lucky, and I mean so lucky. There's a team called the OKC Thunder right now who's basically willing to take on any bad contract for picks. They all in for the 2020s and all that, and they saved that team because if they didn't, you may have been stuck for years with a terrible contract and a terrible fit. And lastly, and I'll talk about it really quickly because it's not like it's a superstar, but it is a really significant move for the best team in the NBA right now. Jordan Clarkson, who's the unquestioned 6th man of the year right now, bruh. He got dealt to Utah for 2 bags of hot Cheetos and a Canada Dry. Like, dead ass. That's what he got dealt for, and it's clearly working out for Utah. if you guys like this video, don't just leave the video, bro. Like the video. Also, I have to thank you guys again for the love the face cam videos have been getting. Like I said, and like I told you in that video, I'm gonna give you guys these type of videos during the day, the video you just watched right now, and the face cam videos at night, just to diversify my content and give you guys more content. Y'all seem to be enjoying them. You know what I'm saying? There's no thing to do it, so I will continue to do it. Follow my social media sites, like the video if you guys like the video, and do all that great stuff, guys. And until next time, as always, stay tuned.